Last year I made a video about Michael Keaton's time as Batman. Now that video was made in preparation to see him reprise the role in the next upcoming superhero outings. But both his world and our world have changed significantly since then, and we've now probably seen what is likely all we'll ever see as him as the character. So with that in mind, I'd like to reflect on how this character has evolved, and in some cases, devolved since Tim Burton's Batman and Batman Returns. I made mention of Bruce feeling a lot like a recluse. Not one to go out and mingle, if even for the sake of gaining intel and espionage. He kept to himself, staying in the shadows in and out of the mask. In many ways, his father figure and butler, Alfred, was all that gave him some sort of social life, insisting that he go out, supporting Batman, but trying to bring back Bruce Wayne. I made mention of how important this relationship is to the character, and both sides of that character, and how with the absence of this Alfred, this Bruce Wayne would live life in self-appointed isolation. And that point was pretty much proved by the Flash movie. The movie showcases a much more mature Bruce, chronologically speaking.
Older.
This is a post-Batman Bruce Wayne, a hero turned hermit who keeps to himself. No real relationships to speak of. A man living out his days until he has no days left to live. He's a person with no point and no purpose. Having avenged his family's death in taking the life that took theirs, cleaning up the city that they once lived in, now Bruce is stuck in the tattered remains of reality after his mission is complete. This sentiment is echoed when he says,
I lost my parents. That pain made me who I am. I'm not sure I know who I am without it, actually.
His life was solely centered around the lives that he lost, and without the guidance of Alfred, there's nothing left, and he's left with nothing. Which is why on the battlefield, Batman chooses to sacrifice himself, continually, almost as a means to an end. To live and die a hero and no longer be burdened by life. That's how I read it anyway. It's a sad conclusion to a character who's been tried through tragic origins, making it an unfortunate but fitting follow-up.
We can't bring you back, can we? You already did.
It's also worth noting that after Bruce takes his final fall, Flash attempts to unmask the hero, but instead he chooses to die under the cowl, which is a perfectly poetic ending for the hero, dying the way that he lived, as Batman. Because in the end, that's who he was. Whether he was in or out of the mask, whether he was amongst others or all alone, whether he was still active in his criminal crime-fighting career, or allegedly retired, he was always Batman. He bonds with Barry over their similar shared stories of lost loved ones, which was nice to see. This Batman not only never took on a Robin, but never so much as worked alongside anyone aside from Alfred. Even his cohorts like Commissioner Gordon are kept at arm's length.
What was kind of fun was that Michael Keaton's Bruce / Batman had never been a mentor. He'd always been a lone wolf. We'd never got to see him with a Robin.
So seeing him work alongside a pseudo-protege was an unforeseen insight into what kind of dynamic a dynamic duo in that universe might have had. It's an added layer to this portrayal, and something new for this version of the character. The movie depicts him as reluctant, but not entirely unwilling to work with others. Some people aren't so fond of this portrayal, calling Keaton's performance lackluster and bored. But Batman in general, and his Batman especially, have always been stoic. He sounds no different than he did the last time he put on the cowl, albeit maybe a bit raspier. The delivery hasn't changed, and it hasn't needed to. I think Keaton was as good as he's ever been here. Even if you don't like the movie, and many didn't, I think most should be able to appreciate the part that he plays in it. A lot of time people criticize his line delivery, specifically this one.
Yeah. I'm Batman.
But I don't think that they're understanding the context of that line and why he says it the way he says it. You see, in the original, he says this as a threat.
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
But in the context of this universe, and ours as well, that line has become so iconic of the vigilante. a fact made clear when this Flash learns of this Batman.
I'm Batman.
What did you just say?
I'm Batman.
So when he's saying this is coming from an old and tired Batman who's had to say that phrase God knows how many times at this point in his life. And he is over it. As a matter of fact, he's over being Batman, because he's kind of being Batman reluctantly. He's also not thrilled to be teaming up with these two. Following this line, he literally tells them that he will only get them to Superman, but from that point on, they're on their own. He's not trying to make an entrance and introduction. He's literally just saying, yeah, I'm Batman. Alright, let's get past this. So, this...
I'm Batman.
...was never meant to be this.
I'm Batman.
It might be the same line, but there's a different meaning behind why it's being said. However, having said that, I think that we can all agree that both of these are much better than this.
Freeze. I'm Batman.
One of the things I appreciate the most out of this return is the window dressing surrounding it, with the Flash movie making mention of Bruce's past appearances, and even staying true to the character's clearly outdated style, making sure that this Bruce Wayne, even when he's at his most homeless looking, is fitted with his finest ascot. Fred from Scooby-Doo, eat your heart out. It even managed to put him back in his mechanic suit. And you gotta love that. Having said all that, as much as I love this in concept, and a good amount of the time in execution, there are still some critiques I have. For one, I don't buy the notion that Batman fights for truth and justice only within the perimeters of Gotham City. I don't buy that his mission can in fact end at all. I know that Gotham City is his home and his #1 priority, but justice doesn't stop there. Even saying something as simple as Bruce got too old and injured to put on the cape and cowl would have made for a much better story, because it would define the unbreakable spirit of Batman, in juxtaposition to the very breakable body of Bruce Wayne. Bruce wouldn't willingly give up the mantle, unless he absolutely had to. So to me, that story would better benefit the character. Though judging by the deleted scenes, it seems like the actual story behind this motive is a lot darker.
I heard this rumor about him killing a dude in front of his kid. Maybe that's why he quit. But why does this guy know so much about time travel?
Maybe he's trying to fix it.
I don't hate the idea of Batman attempting time travel to undo a mistake, but I think that that's too big of a mistake for him to make. Batman doesn't kill, even though this one kinda did. And also, he does a lot in this line of films. But Batman especially wouldn't kill a man in front of his family. His family was killed in front of him. I get that this is done intentionally, I understand the narrative, but it's a bad image to set for Batman. Let alone Michael Keaton's return to the role. Thank God this plot point was dropped on the cutting room floor. We're already coming out of a line of films that saw Batman assault a criminal in an alleyway in front of his child. I don't think I need to say why Batman, a man who watched his parents be murdered in an alleyway in front of his very eyes, would not do something like that. A better narrative might have been Bruce attempting to go back in time trying to save his parents. If you have to do the time travel story, I think that that one might fit a little bit better. And you also do it without completely destroying the sanctity of that character. I hate the actual narrative that they were going to go with because it does a disservice to the character, completely contradicting the more than serviceable work that Michael Keaton was putting in. However, while I'm glad that they didn't use this narrative thread, or spaghetti strand depending on how you choose to look at things, I would have liked to have it replaced with something. The absence of this leaves more holes in the plot than anything else. Why does Bruce Wayne know how time travel works? What was his actual reason for retiring from the role? And why would he be so unwilling to help for the greater good? Also, aesthetically, I have some complaints as well. Not with the suit itself, because I actually in a lot of ways thought that it was an upgrade. Each movie with this Batman has kept the same basic design, but made minor adjustments here and there to better suit it. Here they decided to lose the rubber abs, because honestly, what does that do? But I don't think that they paid enough attention to how they were choosing to light Batman. He always seemed larger than life in those first two films because they kept the costume in mind when lighting a scene, or even when writing a scene. the character was usually accompanied by darkness, which allowed him to blend in better, but also highlighted the character's mystique. Whereas in this movie, they just decided to show him in broad daylight most of the time, and that did nobody any favors. He feels a little out of place here from time to time. I just don't feel like this suit was one that was ever meant to be out in the sun. And also, like the lighting, I think the camera angles aren't always as flattering as they should be. I've never wanted to see Bruce's nose through his Batman mask. How this was not figured out and at the very least fixed in post is far beyond me. It's just not a good look. We're seeing way too much of the man, and when the costume's on him, you want to see more Bat. He goes from feeling larger than life to feeling like cosplay. Despite its somewhat shortcomings, I do cherish the extra time we got with Michael Keaton. It's sad to see that it was so short-lived, as initially there were plans of Keaton to continue on as this universe's Batman, at least for a time being, making a cameo in Aquaman 2, and even co-starring in the now-cancelled Batgirl movie. There were even some whispers of a potential Batman Beyond movie somewhere down the line. Some photos have leaked online showing sneak peeks of what we'll now never see, and it's really unfortunate that he'll never wear that cape and cowl again. But regardless, it's pretty great that he got to wear it a third time. I will mourn what we lost, but appreciate what we got. Michael Keaton is still a great Caped Crusader, and will probably always be one of, if not the most beloved Batman of the big screen. So with all that being said, if you like this video and would maybe be interested in seeing a video on another Michael Keaton related movie, that being Birdman, a movie I myself have yet to see, let me know in the comment section below by leaving a comment saying,
Michael Keaton is Batman to me.
I am vengeance. I am the night. And that was V Infuso. Just remember, if you're not tuning in, then you're missing out.
So, if you like the words that came out of his mouth hole, and you too would like to become a V-generate, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, nerds!
And if you're not joining the fun, you're in for one bad day. And you know what they say about having one bad day?
Catch him next time. Same bat time. Same bat channel.